Lawmakers in Washington say the demand for the prostitution of children is growing.
They're holding congressional hearings about the issue they say is affecting our community. Washington Bureau Chief Jacqueline Castro takes to the latest hearing on Capitol Hill where victims are speaking out.
She goes by the nickname T, and lawmakers are calling her one of the most courageous congressional witnesses they've ever met.
I became vulnerable for a man to basically sexually exploit me. He lured me first on the streets, then the internet, and primarily anywhere he could.
Withelma Ortiz Walker Pettigrew is using her story to help lawmakers better understand the issue of sex trafficking in our nation. In her testimony to the House Judiciary Committee,
We need to extend these services.
she said she spent her life on the streets from when she was 10 to 17 years old, beaten, tortured, manipulated, and sold for sex.
I am coming with the knowledge of not only my own experience, but plenty of other young people who've been victimized for sexual exploitation.
T told lawmakers she thinks people who purchase children for sex should be prosecuted as child rapists. She advocates for better services for victims and says the child welfare system is partly to blame. She was raised in the system.
I don't think that there's enough supervision upon the funding that's given to serve and provide for the young people, and so it's often, manipulated or taken advantage of by caregivers.
Right now, members of Congress tell us human trafficking in the U.S. is a $9.8 billion industry. One lawmaker on the committee is working on legislation to increase penalties for trafficking offenses, strengthen reporting of the crime, and set up a domestic trafficking victims fund inside the Treasury Department.
They prosecute the trafficker. Let's go after the customer, because it's all about money. Treat those individuals like criminals and make sure that they go to prison, and make sure that the days of boys being boys is over.
Congressman Ted Poe is doing more than just write legislation. He's encouraging T to continue to tell her story, saying he believes it will help convince other lawmakers that something needs to be done now.
I definitely wouldn't be here today if I didn't feel that this was possible to make a difference in women like me or other young people.
Reporting on Capitol Hill, I'm Jacqueline Castro.